Yeah.
So no McDonald's for you. I don't hear McDonald's anywhere. Well, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Not Your Average Cheerleader with me, your host, Ashley Gibbs. We are on episode 5, and I am so excited to share a special guest with us today. I'm with David Long Jr., cornerback for the LA Rams. Thank you so much for joining me from where you are, because you're on the West Coast right now.
Yep.
And it was so good to kind of read a little bit about your journey in the NFL. I know you kind of, attended Loyola High School. It's where you're from, West Coast, of course. And now you're playing for the LA Rams. How did it feel kind of playing back in your hometown?
It was interesting, because I went away for school, went to University of Michigan. So being able to come back home was a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I was going to get drafted back in LA, but everything works out for a reason. And, timing is kind of perfect. So I got to come back home. I'm not, directly in LA, but it's much closer than, the almost the 2,000 miles, whatever I was away from home. Now I'm just an hour or so in Pasadena.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. Everything happens for a reason. Truly a blessing. Get to, be a little bit around family and friends if that works out for you.
Yep.
And you did 3 years, like you just said, college football in Michigan, and now you're going into your 3rd year into the NFL. What are some differences and learns that you've had so far?
I'll just say probably the biggest thing is you have more time on your hands, so just more times to perfect areas outside of like the physical aspect of football. So maybe like the above the neck, like your mental game, even your body, like your diet and stuff like that. You have more time and resources to take advantage of some of that stuff. Whereas in college, it's just kind of just like the football stuff. You got school going on, and then like you're a teenager at the end of the day, so you just got a whole bunch of other stuff going on that you're trying to just juggle and balance out. And now it's just like, all I have to do is play football for the most part. It pays well, so I don't have to worry about anything of that. And as far as like, keeping a roof over my head or anything, like eating. So it's really just about planning out and mapping out everything and keeping my body in shape and then, in tip-top shape for this season.
I know that's right. You're like, hey, focused in, eat, breathe, sleep, football. So what's your workout regimen that you have to prepare? I know training camp's getting ready to start soon. What do you kind of let your schedule, your set system look like for yourself to be prepared for that?
It depends. I train at different places depending on what time of the year it is. Right at the off season, I'm doing lighter stuff to get my body back. More cardio orientated, mobility, some strength stuff, but not heavy lifting. I just probably finished the period where I was lifting heavier, but just I guess say in general, I probably work out 1 to 2 times a day. Just that's probably average. I like to work out in the mornings. That way I can work out early, sleep, and then if I have another workout, I can get that workout in before 3 or 4 o'clock. And I still have the rest of the day to myself. It also helps with the eating schedule. When I lift in the morning, it's a lot easier to manage that stuff with the eating when I lift in the morning. So generally, yeah, I'll do like during quarantine, I guess an average day would be me lifting at like 8 to 9:30 to 10. And then I come back and probably have meetings from like 10 or 11 or so to like maybe 1. And then I'll go do some field work from like, 2:30 to, 4 or so like that. And then that'd be my day.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So no McDonald's for you. I don't hear McDonald's anywhere.
I mean, like it's I feel like that's more people's body. Like you got guys on the team that eat terribly and they're in great shape, and other guys, that it takes a lot for them to upkeep, how they look. So I think it's your body, but I think in general it's just like the basic concept of like gaining weight. Like people say, if you don't burn off enough calories and you're eating too many calories, like you'll just gain weight. So if you work hard enough, I guess you can eat what you want. But me personally, I do think there's a significance to having a great diet. It gives you definitely an edge with your recovery in sports.
For sure. Absolutely. And now looking into the 2021 season, we've seen a lot of trades happen so far, some very surprising. And thinking about just what recently happened with Troy Hill going, over towards, the Midwest now, how do you think that's going to affect your defense moving into 2021 season?
Um, I mean, like I think it's just like with any NFL team, he left in free agency, so you always have guys that are prepped to step in. And I was technically behind Troy Hill,
Mhm.
so I don't think we'll really miss a beat. Troy was a great addition. He was with the Rams for a really long time, great talent. I'm sure everybody on both ends is happy for him, getting paid and being able to go over there. But as far as our defense as a whole, I think we were a cohesive unit, top to bottom. We developed really well because he kind of stepped into a similar role where, he was special teams and kind of this reserve role, and then people left and he stepped in and had to start and play.
Wow.
So I think the Rams have done a good job of just developing guys. So whoever is next in line to get in, they're ready to go in and take advantage of whatever opportunity that presents itself during that season or course of seasons.
Yeah, and then looking even at, your skill set and how far you've come, from your rookie year to last year, getting into the game, of course, even more so. And you had Jalen Ramsey, who is, a prominent cornerback on your team right now. Has he given you any, feedback or any advice, anything that you've been able to use in the game on the field?
I think it's really everybody though. I've played with a lot of corners, from my rookie year to now. Um, I think it's everybody. It's kind of tricky because you got to take everything like a grain of salt. There's some things that Jalen can do that I can't do. There's some things that I can do that Jalen, doesn't like to do or he can't do. So you got to take those like a grain of salt. But I think as a whole, with the defensive unit, everybody is giving each other information to better one another. And not necessarily like go do this, but maybe you should consider this, and this will help elevate your game. So like I said before with the Troy Hill situation, I think as a whole, the defensive unit and the Rams have done a great job developing the cornerbacks, players, and we have a great room, great guys of, just all players trying to uplift each other and get everybody to their best. So I say everybody, everybody from safeties, corners, everybody is contributing to everybody's, development and getting to where they need to go.
That's good. It sounds like a real cohesive teamwork unit going on over there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the means to success. When you can work as a team, that's when you really start winning games, nonetheless.
Definitely, I think that's one of the biggest pieces, just like having a cohesive unit, top to bottom, as a team. That matters.
Yeah, 100%. So I really want to fire this question off before I let you get back to your day. Who is the hardest wide receiver, in your opinion, to cover on the field, or at least the most challenging?
Um, Man, I think it's tough. You can it's a lot of guys. You know, I think I honestly, and people ask me this question a lot, and I think it's you really have to decide on, because there's certain guys that are hard covers in certain areas of the field, and they have something that's unique to them. I mean, that's why they're in the NFL. There's something that they can do that sets them apart. So there's certain instances where guys, or I guess it would be a tougher cover depending on what area of the field is, or what time of the game is, or what they're doing, what they're running. Um, I really can't pinpoint anybody because like I said, I just feel like you can go either way. I respect good football, so there's a lot of good receivers out there that can do a lot of things. But just in general, my mindset is when I think of a matchup and how tough I determine it is size, and then you have to incorporate ability,
Mm.
because those two things are big for DB and makes it easier for a quarterback. A bigger guy makes a bigger target, especially down the field. And then ability as far as like your skill set, like what can you do? What routes do you like to run? Where do you like to catch the ball on the field? How do you catch the ball? All those things are, incorporated in how I see a matchup. Because like I said, it's some guys that, Jalen might go up against and say, this is a tough cover for him because of the skill set that he has. And then maybe a guy that I might go against and say that I don't think he's so much of a tough cover. So it's all dependent on, like I said, like where you on the field, um, time of the game, also quarterback. Who's throwing them the ball. That's also depending on, I think, what do you call a tough matchup. I don't think you can really pinpoint it. There's some guys that I guess you can throw out there, but everybody would just say those names. You know, those are the names that we always hear about. And like I said, I respect football. Those are definitely, you know, those are great players. But there's also a lot of guys that names people you probably wouldn't hear. You know, every that aren't household names that are I would consider, you know, tough coverage for a lot of people in the NFL as far as the film. So I mean, yeah, like I said, I really can't pinpoint, you know, one. I played sparingly in my 2 years. I've guarded some people, you know, checked some all pros, pro bowlers, but I think it's really dependent on those factors.
Yeah, that's actually a really good answer. I'll take that. I'll take that any day of the week. Well, I will, of course, let you get back to you. You have more intensive schedule than I do, but I'll let you get back to what you're doing. Thank you so much for taking the time out, David, joining me, Not Your Average Cheerleader, my NFL podcast. And let me ask you a few questions. I look forward to seeing what you and the Rams are going to do this season. Definitely, I'm going to go ahead and share it now because you'll probably hear it later. I am a 49ers fan. Don't hold that against me. But I will be rooting for you, and I hope you guys have an amazing season this year.
Thank you, appreciate it. It's a blessing. Thank you for having me. Just appreciate everything.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
No problem.